All right, folks. We have an early win today, and I'm just taking the one because I think the way this last few days has gone has been challenging. So we had a good setup, and I've taken it. I did something a little bit different today. I actually traded the YM, the MYM, the micro YM. The YM is the Dow. And so what we're doing here is it's about 6:41 Pacific time on this replay. I'm going to take the trade at 6:45. What I'm doing is I am 6:45. Yeah, 6:45. So these are the 5-minute bars on the YM, and you can see that that essentially we've got a. If you look at the last little while, the pre-market, you've pretty much got an area in here, sort of a box that stayed between this pre-market high and this area here. It's not actually the pre-market low because if you go far enough back, it spiked up right after market close when there was news of positive news from the Iran conflict. But if we look at where things have kind of settled, this range is essentially the range. So I saw a significant wick coming off of this level here, followed by the first red 5-minute candle, and so I put a sell order in right below here. What was the level I put it in at? 46915. 46915. I gave it a little bit of breathing room just to make sure it was serious. So I put it there. What I'm doing here is I'm trading two of the YM contracts, or the MYM contracts. I'm on the MYM, and each of them is 50 cents. Each point is 50 cents. As a result of that, two contracts with a 100-point stop means that's basically $50 per contract. That's $100 at risk. A little bit more than the 75 that I normally deal with with one contract of the ES, but I decided to do that in any case because this one was of all the different uh, potential contracts I was looking at, the NQ, the ES, etc. This one looked the most likely to succeed as a short. It had a big wick pulling back from this area. It had the first clean red bar. So I've gone in and put that short there. Now I'm going to go ahead and replay this at faster speed, and we can watch this pan out. Now it looked initially like it wasn't done going up, but again, this is why
Order
we're in
filled.
here. Now you can see this wasn't quite at the top, but again, this is one of those things where if it had actually gone up beyond about this point, I would have said no, it's not. At least this point, I would have said no, it's not serious. I wanted to put it right past the red bar. So as you can see, it right away started heading in the right direction, and it moved some 80 points in the right direction. Now, I decided at some point to actually move this stop to even, and at some point around 80 or so. But even if I hadn't, as soon as it goes 100 points in the right direction on the YM, it'll automatically bring this stop up to even. So I'll just let it do that. But just to be clear, once it had moved after this first bar, I moved this stop down to even because I didn't want to give it back. There's been a very unpredictable market lately. So, okay, here we go. So now we've moved in the right direction. Actually, I think it wasn't 100. I think it was 80. As soon as it moves 80 in the right direction, I think it pulls it up to stop. And you can see that this is pulling down. And what I'm thinking here is now where it actually put the target was way down here at 400 points. I don't think it's going to get that. I think I would be lucky for it to get back to the bottom of this little boxy range. Now I'm going to pause this for a quick second because what I did here is because I'm expecting this to snap back is I actually followed this down a little further. And so I said I was at 915. I went initially to 815, so I would lock in $100, which is basically 100 points, 50 cents a point times two contracts. And then I let this continue on. And where did I end up? I ended up selling that at 213. But anyway, let me let this go a little bit here because I actually stopped us. Let me just move this down a bit. I'll let this continue to progress. And so you can see it starts to bounce back a little bit. And this is why I want to make sure I'm locking in something. I don't know at this point whether it's just going to turn around and head back up again. And I don't want to have nothing to show for it. So So we'll let this go. And at some point, it starts to get serious about selling off. And I ended up following this down a bit further. And I followed it down to, I haven't moved it yet, but let's just see when this gets to 7. Yeah, okay, starting to get more serious about it now. So I moved this down to about 715. So that locked in 200. And then it went a little further than that, and I ended up coming down a bit. Oh, I know, I came right down to the top of this. Uh,
Top
I
bill.
didn't actually put it there, but I clicked it, so it was 213 points that I ended up getting, which is good because it was right around this point that it started to rebound a little bit. It then did sell a little bit further before rebounding more substantially. But this was a quick score. It was $213 on these two contracts, which is pretty good considering that the entire goal for the $1 million experiment for month one was 249, and we've already met that. So this why I was trading in a separate account. Well, by the way, previously I had been saying I'm going to trade this in a simulation account. I've actually decided to not do that. I've opened up another account and I'm funding it with a smaller amount of money entirely because when I trade in a sim account, there's a part of me that knows it's only a simulation, and therefore I'm not worried about losing money. I'm not worried about missing out on a gain. I'm not dealing with the greed and fear, which is actually most of the problem. So when I trade, trading on simulation is fine for learning the mechanics and for establishing judgment about whether this is a high probability trade or not. You'll be able to hone that in a sim account. That's fine. But what you aren't practicing is the psychology. It's the emotion management. It's the fear and greed. That's the piece that's actually the main. That's the main thing actually. And so I want to practice that more. I want to exercise that. I need to have real money at stake. Otherwise, subconsciously, I know that it doesn't matter, and that's not helpful. So I've created another account that I'll trade in. Um, so I'm not putting at risk the $1 million experiment money, but at the same time, I also want to be exercising my psychology as I'm going through this because that's the whole point. That's why I want to keep trading every day, even though I've already made the amount that I need to make for the month. So anyway, just thought I'd share that, and here we are.